Back, you're watching Today. Now, failing and absent infrastructure and resources has plunged education in South Africa into crisis mode. Now, the sector faces a new obstacle, the approaching wave of teacher retirements. Frightening if you factor in the report that found that over 80% of grade 4 pupils can't read for understanding. So what can be done to bring the sector back from the brink of disaster? To help answer this question and more, we're joined this afternoon by the head of strategy at the Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, Jeremy Gibbon, teacher Sithembiso Gugu Mbatha, and Teach the Nation's David Oliphant. Thank you very much for your time. Sithembiso, I'm going to start with you as an educator who actively participates in the sector. How bad is the situation when it comes to basic education in South Africa, just based on your experience?
Hi, hello. Thank you for having me. I guess from my perspective, I'd have to give context that I'm in a school here in Cape Town where I teach learners who are at risk and vulnerable. So in that case, I'd say for them, it is quite bad. And recently with the taxi strike, we had to close down for the whole week and try to send out work via WhatsApp groups, which is not very convenient. Not a lot of our learners have access to these, to data and Wi-Fi and things like that. So from my perspective, yes, it is quite bad.
Jeremy, it's just one of many issues that we deal with at a basic education level. Not only are we still shaking off the dire implications of the COVID-19 pandemic, we've got the electricity crisis, we've got water issues, and of course, as I mentioned in my intro, infrastructure and the retirement of teachers that is looming. The question here was, can we come back from the brink of disaster? And if you look at the situation holistically, one would immediately say no. But I don't want to be too pessimistic in this regard.
It certainly is a challenging situation. There's no doubt about it, Rafiwe. And I think it's important for us to remember that we're not alone in this. You know, if you look internationally, almost every country around the world is dealing with two critical issues. The first being how do we ensure that our curriculum remains relevant for the modern world and prepares our students for the future? And then secondly, how do we close the gap, the achievement gap between rich and poor students? And of course, in South Africa, we experience those same two issues. You've mentioned a number of other issues that we face. Retirement wave is going to have a big impact. You mentioned infrastructure. Gugu's mentioned issues to do with local politics, electricity crisis, etc. So it certainly is challenging. The work that we do at Jakes Gerwel Fellowship, and I know the work that David does at Teach the Nation, we hold firmly to the belief that the answer lies with the teachers. The quality of teaching and learning that happens in our schools across this country is largely dependent on the quality of the teacher. And so is it a challenging situation? 100%. Is there a solution? Absolutely. And in a very funny way, the retirement wave actually gives us an incredible opportunity. As you said, about half of our teachers in the public sector will retire in the next decade. Now, the opportunity here is that means over the next decade, we are going to refresh our teaching corps with brand new, trained, young, passionate teachers. Never before have we had such a change in the teaching corps. And that's going to be incredibly exciting. It's an amazing opportunity for us.
It's going to be exciting indeed, Jeremy. But David, in the meantime, Jeremy indicating that teachers are the one to solve the dire problems that we have at the moment. You know, the quality of education that children or pupils get at a basic education level needs to be of a certain standard. But when we've got a situation where you've got learners in grade 4 who are unable to read for understanding, there seems to be, or that brings up rather, major concerns around the standard of teaching currently, and that in fact teachers maybe aren't that good, or perhaps it's an issue of resources at the moment.
I think it's a couple of issues, and us as organizations, we all really coming together around this very compelling issue, which is that teacher shortage that is going to happen in the next 10 years. So Jeremy was saying almost 50% of our teachers are going to exit the system. And yes, there is a lot of pressure on the quality of teaching and the quality of the teachers that we produce as a sector. So that is the challenge. It's a system-wide challenge for us to improve the quality of teaching, but also improve the supply of teachers to the sector. And that is what I feel all of us are really getting behind. And as a group of social entrepreneurs, a group of social enterprises, it's important that we come together around this compelling challenge and this opportunity that we all see to actually bring in a new group of teachers that are inspiring, that are passionate, that really want to see change in our country. And that is what all of us are through our collective impact model, we're trying to focus on for the next at least 10 years to make that difference through our different programs.
David, I'm just going to come in there. I'm going to have us pause our